Our mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting parents whose children have passed. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. Helping Parents Heal goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. Helping Parents Heal affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at this meeting is voluntary. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Discussions here are confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch. Neither type of Helping Parents Heal meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with our children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentation whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone. I know Elizabeth is going to read Craig and Julie's bio, but I just personally wanted to thank Craig once again for making that wonderful documentary. It was such an honor to be a part of. And since he made that documentary, he has opened up so many of us to just finding Helping Parents Heal. And our membership has quadrupled, Craig, since the documentary was released. So thank you. Thank you for helping us help others.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and read your bio, or your bios. It's so much fun to read this bio because it kind of reflects what I feel about my own healing. And I love that Julie went through this in the very beginning, and I know that everyone will love to hear about that as well. But let me go ahead and get started. Julie and Craig McMahon are true soulmates that came together at a pivotal point in time through destiny. Soulmates are an example of unity consciousness where two souls merge together as one, expressing themselves as one. They think together, evolve together, create a vesica of harmony and love together. So that's not me, actually, but the next part is Craig McMahon has created the television series Life to Afterlife, which embodies research and interviews exploring the afterlife and its relation to life's purpose. His content also includes positive, uplifting spiritual emotion pictures. He met Julie at the deepest part of her awakening just 3 months after the transition of her son, Dakota. Julie had a profound transcendent shift in her awareness, a full out-of-body experience when she saw her son's body in the night of his death. Through the transition of Dakota, she transcended the grief process and speaks of a new way to evolve through the understanding of death and love, and speaks on the untruth of the grief process. Together, Julie and Craig's mission is to assist the transformation of the new multidimensional human that is part of the new earth through their work. And I just want to again say, because I think we were saying it before we started the recording, Craig produced the documentary from his spirituality series, Life to Afterlife, Mom, Can You Hear Me? With 20 members of Helping Parents Heal. The documentary inspired the Helping Parents Heal book, Life to Afterlife, Helping Parents Heal the book, as well as so much more that's happened in Helping Parents Heal since. So we are very grateful to Craig and to Julie, and we're very excited about having them speak this evening because it's been way too long, And maybe you guys can tell us what you've been doing since you kind of disappeared. Let's see, Julie, let's see, first, Craig, can we start with you and just have you tell us a little bit about what you guys have been doing since the last time that we interviewed you a couple years ago?
Well, we moved out to North Carolina and we bought some property, sight unseen, 12 acres, and it was complete forestry. So we cut in roads and we built 2 houses, and we worked with Earth and Gaia to have solar and well water, and a septic to be self-sustaining. And we have a wood boiler where we have a heated floor. And we worked, like I said, with Gaia to distribute water to not to succumb to this 100-year storm of the century. And we were without, we had no problems, no electrical problems. We had internet, we had television. So we've just been really focused on Earth and Gaia and sovereignty, and trying to understand how to work more with the animals, the trees, and nature. And so that's been our journey. And we've been quietly building these homes, but yet we've been working on our studies, as well as helping as many people as we can through charity and through help, just straight up helping in our community. And if you want to add anything, go ahead, baby.
Yeah, so hi. So we finished the projects, and they were, like you said, we're very proud of what we did. And we've been asked to do this more in other areas. So whether we stay here after we've built this or not is to be determined. But as of right now, we're thinking of selling this homestead and actually moving again, but only because our life is taking us to Australia next summer. We'll get into that, and possibly moving back towards Arizona probably in the next year. So things just continue to evolve and change, and we just kind of go with it. So
That's amazing, wonderful. And I just want to say too that both Craig and Julie obviously live very close to Asheville, so they could have had a lot of difficulty with this 100-year flood, but they were able to have all of these different obviously things that were self-sustaining, so they were able to get through it and help others as they did. And I also would love to be able to just, for the people that don't know you, explain a little bit more about your stories. And maybe, Julie, if you could tell a little bit about the passing of your son and exactly what happened. So when Dakota passed, obviously you had this out of body experience, and I guess a shared death experience as well, that allowed you to start healing immediately. But could you tell just a little bit about that? Do you mind telling about his transition?
yeah, so like every single person on this in this circle right now, that day came into my life suddenly and unexpectedly. And so I got a phone call, and the person on the other end was really frantic, telling me that Dakota wasn't breathing. And I had just seen him. I talked to him every single day. He was my best friend, actually, until I met Craig. So I was extremely close with him. So I was trying to process it, trying to process this, and I remember praying for 100,000 angels driving over there. 100,000. I said, please be with me. And as we were driving, he's got a brother who's 20, who's older than him. He was in the car with me. And I was praying for these angels, and I remember feeling this immense silence. And yet this immense strength. And it was like I already knew before I saw him that the angels were there for me and that he was going to have already been passed. I could feel it before I even got there. So to speed up the events, I had to get permission to see him. He was in his apartment, and they woke up a coroner who came and said, I got to see if you're okay to see him and handle this. And I was like, I'm a nurse and I'm his mother, and you will be doing me a gift that I will live with the rest of my life if I can go and kneel next to him, go see him. I've got to see him. So I was granted that. And as I was walking up the stairs, I had already, just the steps, imagine just apartment steps, I started to feel a shift. Like I could feel my body, I could feel myself, who I thought was myself. But then I started having this other perspective that was immediately right there, almost like a split. Like there was another higher perspective that was almost walking beside me, that was very calm, and that was very love-centered already. And so my body was sort of hollow. I'm just going to use the best words I can to describe the feelings, because as we know, it's so hard to put into words some of these experiences, to come up with adjectives that have the profound awareness in these moments. So I'll do my best. So upon opening the door, there was my baby, and he had all the police and the tubes, and I literally, before I even walked up to him, I saw a baby, I saw a man, and I saw my son. I saw like everything wrapped up into one. And they told me I wasn't allowed to touch him. Well, I walked up to him and I knelt and I just started praying, talking to him, channeling. And I looked down and I just started telling him how thankful I was. The first feeling I had was gratitude, so much overwhelm, thankful that I had him in my life, and that I was honored, like so tremendously honored by the love I had for him. So I just started telling him thank you, and all this like stuff was coming out of me, and the room got silent, and the room kind of filled up with like real thick air. And I had put my hands on his chest, even though they told me I couldn't talk to him or touch him. And I just told him like, thank you. And wherever you're going, I'm going to go. Like, I'm going to follow you, wherever you are, I'm okay. And then I started saying, I'm okay, Dakota. I started telling him like not to worry about me, which was sort of like all these emotions was sort of abnormal, I guess, because everyone in the room had taken a knee, and they were down like in that prayer position, because they were hearing what I was saying. And of course I was crying and I was shaking, and I was just like, okay, this is whatever this death is, this thing, I'm going to go there. I'm going to follow that. And I just like kissed his little hand and just said, whew, this is a big ask of me. But so I picked myself up, and this time I was a single mom his entire life. And I remember turning and realizing everybody was just like in this kneeling position, and they all stood up when I stood up, and I walked out. And as I walked back down the steps, I just felt extremely light, like I had no weight in my body. And all this grace, this like emptiness, this vastness of like being swallowed up by the world, you know, and yet completely knowing that if he was no longer in his body, then that's where I was going to live. I was going to be more kind, more generous, more unattached, more free, more. And I just like that. I was just kind of, you know, and then of course you get down and there's cops and detectives, and all of that was bustling around me. And the Julie that I know was answering questions and sitting in cars. And the very first thing that happened was I was sitting on the curb with my son, and my brother had shown up, and the cops were there. And it was, I mean, this was like hours because it was you know, an unforeseen death of a 19-year-old who was just suddenly found, like, you know, no longer living. This little pug dog came up, and so his password on his all of his little like laptops was Puggy, because of this little dog that he saw when he was little. And this pug dog walked right up to me and just sat on my lap, and I'm like, and my other son, Tristan was like, Mom, that's Puggy, you know, like there's Puggy. And it was just like the very first sign, you know, was just everything started to be surreal, right? Like that's that first thing that just made us all laugh a little bit, because it was like, where did this dog come from? Like, where are the owners, you know? Little things like that. And then there was one of those people that come from the police to be of service to you when you have like grief counselors. And she gives me a teddy bear. And it's the exact same teddy bear that he had, the colors, like a rainbow colored. Anyways, it was the exact same one he had in his car. And she handed it to me as like this. And I just started like gathering all these little pieces from the beginning that were just so tied to him. There was just so, you couldn't place them, you know? So I already started, and I think that it was easy for me to start making those correlations because of maybe that commitment of my heart. Instead of being so, and all that grief was there and all that pain is there, but I think because I was willing to be open, I started to get signs pretty quickly.
This is amazing. And it's always so much, I love listening to this story because it really does show that it is possible to start healing right away. And obviously you did. And I'm sure that Tristan did as well. But I got goosebumps when you were telling the story. And I've heard it a couple times, but I didn't realize that everyone took a knee while this was happening, and I'm sure that they felt very compelled to do so. I was just admiring Dakota's picture on the wall behind you. What a beautiful, beautiful boy. And anyway, I know that this led you to meeting Craig, who was at the time already working on all of these spirituality series documentaries. And so you're in one of them. But Craig, could you tell a little bit more? I don't want to segue too much, but could you tell a little bit more about the series and tell people who haven't seen it what it involves? So there are several different, obviously, documentaries that are part of it, and it came out initially in 2019, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Well, so I think you kind of heard the story. These, you know, the beings of light came to me and said, you need to start producing this spirituality content, because I was making uplifting faith-based movies. And they said, you know, you need to do this. So that began the journey of doing it. The series is to focus on all the different, you know, people and get their ideas, their stories, to understand everything there is from spirituality from A to Z, whether it's a parent, James Van Praagh, you know, many people that died and came back, and their experience with the divine, and trying to piece together life to the afterlife. Everything that we do here matters. Everything is recorded, as you all know. There's the Akashic record or the life review. And so if you understand where we're going, then it makes for a better life here, and to be more mindful and more kind and benevolent and compassionate. And so with the recent this religion kind of really got weird for a while. So it was nice to get into combining Buddhism, the Christ consciousness, and all these different religions that all have wonderful things to say. And so they all have that same single message, that's repeats itself. So the series is basically to explore everything about life and then drifting into the afterlife to stop karma, basically to just do better and evolve and work on our evolution.
That's beautiful. And I think that that's something that we all have to remember, that we're only here for a very short time. So we have that time to be able to make a difference in the lives of others and to help each other. And basically, this whole journey is all about love. And I love hearing what you both talk about, because you embody this truth. And I also just want to say that I wanted to ask you, Craig, very quickly, do you think that the people that you met, the near-death experiencers, all of the parents that you met, as well as the other people who are healers and people who are mediums, would you say that there's something that sets them apart from other people that you've worked with in cinema before?
Well, of course. Hollywood has gotten really strange lately, in my perspective. And it seems like the spiritual community is really focused on each other and trying to help one another. And I remember I went to a Helping Parents, I think it was a dinner at, I can't remember whose house it was. I'm sure you remember, maybe. And I was just kind of amazed at the conversations people were actually talking and listening to each other. It was so refreshing. I wasn't really quite used to that. Normally, when you go to a party, people are just talking and they're waiting for you to finish so they can just interject their ego into this conversation. But there's really the egoless feeling that you have with especially parents that have had their children's transition, this break away from materialism and ego, and they just care about they just care about each other, and that is just so amazing. And I don't wish it upon anybody to lose a loved one. I've lost a lot in my life. But it does have a silver lining of sorts, and it is beautiful if you can see that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. That was at Lynn and Jeff's house. And I want to tell everyone who's watching that Craig is one of us. He's a Shining Light sibling twice over, and his parents also passed when he was fairly young. And so I think that Craig has always got it. He understands what all of us go through. And I think that the day that we had that dinner was the last day of filming with Suzanne Geisman, who came to Lynn and Jeff's to do some validations for the parents, which was wonderful. But I wanted to be able to get back to first of all how you both met, and then I know that it was in the context of the series, but also find out what you're going to be doing in Australia. So maybe we can start with how you met. Julie, can you tell a little bit about that?
Well, I'll start with when Dakota was around and I was single. I was a single mom for a very long time, his entire life. So he would joke with me that I don't get out enough. And I go to the grocery store and I don't do much else at that time. And I, kind of quiet and shy. And he said, Mom, do you think he's just going to show up at the house one day? And do you think he's going to ring the doorbell and just show up with roses, with flowers? Sorry. Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Sorry.
Do you think he's just going to show up and knock at the door one day and just show up with flowers. And I said, that's exactly what he's going to do. Exactly. So that's an important piece of the story, because when I met Craig, he at my house, there was a door and a gate, and you pull straight up and you ring the doorbell.
A normal door.
A normal door, big door, like a big entrance with a fountain, and you can't miss it.
Yeah.
So he pulls up and he comes to the side door that you can't see. And it's a wooden door. And he comes around and knocks. And and so I had to come over to and the door enters into my workout room. So I open it up, and the first time that I actually met him, and he's standing there with a dozen red roses. And of course, at that exact moment, it wasn't like I put two and two together. However, after we met, and it was, a soulmate is extremely recognizable. The love is undeniable. And there's a togetherness that's just extremely comfortable. So when all those all came so quickly after, we had to laugh and go back and go, this is exactly the conversation I had with Dakota, in jest. And yet it was exactly how we met for the first time.
That's
When
amazing.
I was coming to her house, I was actually coming to interview Julie. And I was driving, and there was a voice that actually said, go get flowers. And I'm like, this is pretty fresh. I'm a pretty professional man. I don't normally show up to a subject that I'm interviewing, and it's just not what I would do. It's not something I would do. And for some reason, I did not fight it. And then I was like being told to get red roses, because then she'll understand. Just get the red roses. I'm like, oh my God, this is so fresh, so forward. This is just not cool. But I did it anyway, and I don't know why I did it. And I remember going led to a place where I can knock instead of ring the doorbell, because that's something that Dakota had said. You think he's going to show up and just knock at the door with a bouquet of
Red
roses.
Which
so
is,
I'm telling you that I was led. I was divinely led by Dakota, and that would help her fall in love with me.
Well, along those same lines, I know that when you were creating the documentary series, Life to Afterlife, Mom, Can You Hear Me? You had a lot of kids follow you home, or they would stay in your home after we'd be filming, and you had a lot of experiences with that. Could you tell a few stories about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that they're curious. If I'm going to be interviewing their parents or their mom or their dad or something of that nature, they kind of come around, days before. And was it Andy? Andy, he changed the screensaver on my phone when I was meeting his mom. They would just constantly barrage me with I'm here kind of communication. There was another meeting, and I don't remember where it was, which house it was, but they were all around, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it was so intense that I had to go get a breath of fresh air, because it was just so intense. But that's pretty common, because with some of the other projects that I did, I would spend, sometimes as much as 2 weeks with the spirit that is in the afterlife. I would spend like 2 weeks with them and get to know them. I'm going to be talking to you, so I want to really get to know you, like Robin Williams or whoever. I would just really kind of want to get to know them. So it was kind of a practice that was kind of instilled into me of communicating with the spirit.
That's beautiful. And it's interesting because I know too that you had said that working with Lori Savoy, I think that you were doing some, let's see, voice communication with her,
Oh
and
yes.
son Garrett came through. And the reason that the series or the
Yep.
documentary is called Mom, Can You Hear
Yep.
Me?
Mom, can you hear me now? Yeah, it was with Jamie Clark. I was at Jamie Clark's house. Lori was there, and I was, Craig, messing around with ITC. Um, and Lori was calling out. We were all holding the intention of Garrett, and it was plain as day. I just heard, and I know they did too. Mom, can you hear me now? And that was like, I didn't have the title, and I was like, divine just gives it to you. That's the beauty of things. Uh,
So
how it works.
I have to say that everyone's just saying how beautiful the whole story of the dozen roses is too. And then
Oh, there's
let's-
more. There's many, 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 many more stories that just
so
were just.
you would assume that Dakota is happy that you guys are together. Is that correct?
Yeah, I kind of have this little image that, because of the way his character is, I just feel like he got up there in heaven or in the, out of body in that free space, and I feel like he just went, okay, how does this work up here? Because I need to get a hold of her, and and can I get her soulmate to her? She's been wanting this for so long, like I could just see him just like, okay, how does this work, And I mean, he called me on the third day, on the third day of his passing. I had a random call and someone asked, what happened to him? Or no, they said, is he okay? And I had not told them. And they said, I have a psychic here that needs to talk to you. And she just he told me everything. Very first thing he said on that phone call was, death is not what you think it is, And he said, I'm not dead. And then he said, it's my fault, mom, my fault, mom. And he told me everything that the cops hadn't told me, that nobody had told me. I knew everything on the third day. He got a hold of me on his own, and I think that's also, but see, I had never went without talking to him. And I think people like to ask, well, why you? How did you get that? And I really want to stress to people, I only believe it's because I just kept my heart open and I had tremendous pain inside myself, if that makes sense. So it's not an easy thing because, as you know, when someone hurts your feelings, you can feel your heart close. It's kind of, we've learned it when we were in first time anyone hurt our feelings on the playground, you can feel your heart kind of close in. And so keeping it open and trusting that if this is what he wanted, imagine unconditional love. Imagine even someone you love dying and you could somewhat be selfless in it because of the love you have for them. It's like, I can't describe it in any other way except that I love Dakota so much that I was willing to explore this than to destroy myself, because the thought of being separated from him was worse than the fact that he wasn't living. Like I wouldn't accept it. I just couldn't accept that death meant something. And that gave me a tremendous in. That's one of the reasons why I say I speak about the untruths of the grief process. It's only my truth, but pain, depression, anger, those are things that you can experience, but you can also keep your heart open when it extremely wants to close with some very valiant effort, and you are rewarded for it. And this thing doesn't have to just be in death. It can be in relationships that challenge you. It could be in situations that challenge you. But if you can remain in that field of grace by keeping that heart open, you're tremendously rewarded from it. And it's those little gifts, those little synchronicities that I get from Dakota that mean more than anything anyone could buy me. Any, like a little rock or a little something that I got that I know came from the divine, it makes materialism seem small. It really humbles you to say, I don't need much, because it means that much, that he is okay.
That's beautiful. And, I love hearing you speak about this because it's true. All of those signs are so much more important than any monetary thing that we could have. after having a child transition. I wanted to ask you about Tristan. A lot of our parents have siblings, I mean, who are still here. How has he handled this, and where is he now, and what's he doing? Is he moving forward and healing himself?
Well, he has struggled. He watched me and watched my life, and he's a part of it. He's here with us. We built him a house through our charity. But he you know, he gets glimpses of it, but he's very he believes that, you know, that a God couldn't do this to someone, you know, like, so he's been struggling with the acceptance piece of it. However, bringing him up here, letting him live in this serene nature away from having to deal with the world. So he's had a beautiful healing time out up here. And he just had a baby. So we are grandparents. And that's brought a lot of understanding. I think he's finally now able to realize that this tremendous joy of a child is so healing to his little family. So but yes, he has not had the same journey as me, but he gets a lot of it by osmosis because he's very close to us. I mean, he has not left my side since Dakota's passing. And he's had time with nature and to bring you know, a child in. So he's getting there. He's getting there. He's very happy. And it's taken a while, but you know, he's around us, and we, as goofy as we are, and he kind of might not buy it sometimes, he still tells me about his own signs. He's just not aware of it. He'll tell me these little signs of a cardinal or this or that. So it's coming through him. It's just he just can't fully like see it for what it is yet. But he's still aware of little bits and pieces of it. And that's good enough, you know. That's his little journey.
Good. And I'm sure that because of the fact that Craig has also been on that same journey, not once but twice, you're probably a really good person to be able to talk to as well, just or at least to just be in the same room with, because you understand what Tristan must be going through. Do you feel that way? And I before you answer, I just want to say one thing very quickly, because I loved the fact that you said that the energy of the parents was so nice when we were at Lynn and Jeff's house. I wanted to tell everyone that Julie and Craig were supposed to speak at our second Helping Parents Heal conference, which obviously was awesome, but the energy of all of these parents together, just no matter what the situation is, if you, Craig, are with Tristan, helping him to move forward because you know what it's like, as well as Julie, but because you're a shining light sibling, for us having all of these parents in the same place, but also all of these kids, the siblings who came as well. It's just such a wonderful thing to be with like-minded people and to be able to talk about our kids freely without feeling nervous that we're making somebody else feel ill at ease because they're worried that by talking about our kids, it might make us sad, which it never does. But anyway, Craig, can you talk a little bit about Tristan and your relationship with him? Maybe, I mean, that might be a little bit too much, especially for Tristan, but do you feel that you're able to help him because of the fact that you are already so far along on your journey?
Well, I mean, we've like Julie said, we've built him a house, and not just a house. It has solar panels, electricity, it has running water, perfect water. It has, you know, air conditioning, heating, to give him the environment to be at peace. And no, you have to understand Tristan is he's a nature person, And Arizona's not really the best place for that because he needs to be around nature. He loves hiking and splashing around in creeks. And, it's really been that is really just helping him find his way in a very comfortable environment. And, he was under a lot of stress in Arizona. I don't really know exactly what was going on, but things are a lot easier for him. And so we're trying to create that environment so he can take his time and heal in his own space. And so that's why we are, we believe, excuse me, we believe in charity, and charity can start, wherever you want. So, it's a wonderful thing to be able to give somebody such a gift to not have to worry, but to focus on getting a family together, getting started. It's difficult out there. It is difficult. You guys know I have a daughter, as well. It's difficult for young people to start out, and especially when you've got this this you know, like my first brother, he was 18. My second brother was 43. And then, parents, it's difficult because you want to go with them. You do. And so it's just good to give him that distraction, just to say, hey, it's time to live. It's time to, I think sometimes he does think we're a little goofy, but he's getting it.
Oh, I love it. Yes, it's better to be goofy than to be sad, right? And I think that he probably appreciates it, even if he doesn't express it a lot. But Sherry has a wonderful question, and this is for you, Craig. Can you share more about your encounter with the beings of light that you mentioned earlier? Um, and are you still guided by their presence?
Oh, absolutely. So it's been quite the journey because I was really focused on a career of making movies, and when they came, they told me they were going to come when I was in my early 20s. I was meditating, Elizabeth. I don't know if I told you, I was meditating like 6 hours a day. I was a nut. I was at the Bodhi tree down in California, it was the place, Shirley MacLaine, the Bodhi tree. So I was down there, I was meditating way too much. And this being of light just bumped in and just said, why are you so concerned about the afterlife? Work on, do your life. We'll get in touch with you later on, but much, much later. And they came in strong. And that's when they wanted me to be of service to humanity, to give other people's message to a mass audience. But it's been quite the experience because I've made acquaintances with Buddha, um, Jesus, and I have so much relationships with these beings of light, with us, even Archangel Michael, because I was a little nervous about all this spirit around me. I mean, you could come over to my house and it was just so active all the time because I just said, come on in, it's okay. But I had Archangel Michael with me all the time. So I was like, good, I felt good. And then he taught me how to do this myself. So, which was, it's not necessarily a sword or a shield, it's expressing out that love, which darkness can't come near you. So, yeah, now I got acquainted with my master, well, whatever they call the main guide. What do you call him? The main spirit guide? I don't know what the spiritual community. His name is Sir William Wood. And I was like, well, this is just so strange. So I looked him up. He wrote a book. He kind of started working with the natives in the New England area. And he was so adamant about getting through to me. And I was just like, I don't even know you. What is this, so weird. You're an archer, you're, in all this stuff. And so they're, they're constantly in communication, constantly, just like Julie. we get downloads, and I'm a proponent for everybody to start to develop that relationship with the divine, God, whatever you want to call it. They will come. They will come to you, and they will give you answers if you just ask. And like Cryon says, what is it, God, that I need to know? Show me. What is it that I need to know? And that's something that Julie and I, we say it not just daily, but hourly.
That's beautiful. And I have a question for Julie from Marina, and she's asking how you hear Dakota. So could you tell if you're clairaudient or if you're clairvoyant, or I mean, how is it that you are able to hear from him?
Well, you could do either. So if you want to hear their voice, you can ask them. You could put out that desire. So Dakota showed me that it's the desire that comes up in you that helps what we call manifestation or whatever. So you can develop any of these gifts. So when I have heard his voice. And what's interesting when you hear his voice, it's like it's how you remember them speaking here on earth. However, it comes with a feeling. So you feel their response as you kind of hear it the way you remember them. So it's kind of like I hear above my ears when he speaks, and it's kind of a full body hears him and not just your ears. And that's what it's like spiritual listening. So it's very similar because we're in a body and we're used to listening to voices in a linear fashion. So if you want that, if you desire that from your dearly departed, you can ask them to speak to you. And it's really that simple. Ask and you shall receive. So call upon them and say, I want to hear from you, and use your voice. Say out loud, Dakota, please speak to me again. And get that heart feeling of I love you, as if he's here, as if he's in the room with you. Get that wellspring of desire and the right emotional state, that which you want from them. If you want a sign, ask them the same way. If it's been a little while since you haven't connected, and so that's what I do. I will start laughing because that's how we were. We laughed a lot, and I will say things like, I want to hear from you. It's been a little while, and I know I'm being a little selfish because you're probably busy. Playful, right? Playful, love, and be goofy with yourself. Because at first, if you haven't done it, it could be really hard to because your mind, sometimes people will block themselves. It's not going to happen. Give me a sign, but really your mind is saying it's not real. So we have to be careful that sometimes we put out an intention that's actually opposite of the thing that we think we want. So you got to get the two to line up. So so I hear him, but when spirit speaks, it's almost faster than your mind can coordinate it. So like when he gives me an answer, that's how I know it's Dakota and not myself doing it. Because if I think he's so quick to give me the answer, then I know it's him. And I hope that's not too complicated, but it's almost like spirit is so quick to respond that our brain can't catch up with. He just gave me the answer. It's as quick as a yes, or are you here? It's like I'm already, as I'm asking the question, sometimes he answers the question before I finish asking it. But that's spirit. It's just, there's no time. So connection is really as easy as a desire of putting it out there and then letting it come to you. That's the other thing too, is sometimes he'll I'll get it, and that's what I do when I want to sign. I'll put it out there and I'll just go about my day, and let him surprise me with it, usually.
That's wonderful. And I just want to say that we just had Maureen Hancock on Tuesday. She was doing gallery readings and she was in the documentary as well, Craig. And so she was telling us that we just have to ask them to slow down when they're talking to us, because they talk so much at a higher frequency. So it's very hard for us to understand what they're saying. And in fact, she kind of gave examples of it, because she was telling us what the names of people that she would be hearing sounded like, and it was sped up, but the same name. And so I think that it's important to remember what you're saying and to ask it with your heart and to put your whole heart in it, but also keep telling them, and please slow down because I'm not able to go as fast as you can. And I thank you for that. And I also just wanted to ask you guys about what's happening in Australia. Why are you going to Australia?
Go ahead.
So next summer, we've been invited. A gentleman over there had a profound spiritual awakening by watching Life to Afterlife spirituality series, Craig's work, and it moved him so much that he started this desire to create a convention, Life to Afterlife. And he feels that Australia, the whole island, is ready and is behind having this kind of awakening over there. So he has got a hold of Craig and wants to have him over there. And then because of that, there's been so many other people that are now part of the convention, but it is a Life to Afterlife convention over in Australia. So they, it's interesting timing. They were going to do it last year and it just wasn't feeling right to him. So he kind of told Craig, because he didn't think he could, get Craig over there. And so he sat back and kind of listened to what Craig said, trust and the divine, ask your guides and just let it evolve. And it came back with so much support, and they're definitely doing all they can to get us out there. And so we will be going out there. We will be speaking on their main stages, as well as helping them coordinate it now at this point to bring out that awareness that there is no death. That there is no death, and that spiritual awakening is so important right now, especially given the state of the world. And they're just big advocates of it. So we're very blessed and very excited that people are starting to wake up to this idea that it's time to defy what death means and bring, teaching on it.
Yeah, I think what happened was also, I focused mostly on the titles to be in America. And then with Tubi, I don't know if you're familiar with Tubi. It's a little bit like Amazon Prime. Tubi is worldwide. I think it's Fox owns Tubi. So now the content was starting to be seen on Tubi. So now it was going into the Australia region. So it wasn't long before they were started to get more content coming their way. So that was kind of exciting.
That's amazing. Are you going to be doing any more production? I obviously going to Australia is going to be so wonderful for both of you, but are you planning any new series in the future?
Yes, we leave Saturday. We're going down to Florida, to Port Charlotte, to interview a wonderful gentleman who is an advocate for healthy food. And, so I'm doing the follow-up to foods that cure disease, and we're going to do more fruit, eating more fruit, and becoming more the photosynthesis of fruit and vegetables. And of course, I don't know if you guys know, we're vegetarians now. We're almost raw food kind of thing. So that's going to be one of the first ones. We're going to grab a couple of people on this side of the country and start to do foods too. So, and then get into, we talked about, we still want to do the Dakota movie. We just gotta get back to some kind of normalcy. Maybe in Arizona we can to do it there. But we also, the Death and Back series was super successful. And so we did, like I did 1, 2, and 3. But then we could do, did I do 4?
No,
No.
that's the one that
We're probably going to do 4. So we're going to be looking at, continuing with that part of the series. And then there's also the mastership series. We want to do evolving even higher, spiritually, consciously. This is, we don't even know where to start. There's so many things, but we leave Saturday, and then we're also going up to Cincinnati to meet another person that is a proponent for the movie. And so yeah, that's what we're working on right now. So we kind of want to work into the well-roundedness of everything. That's why it's life to afterlife, so it's getting your body healthy, eating healthy, and just respecting Gaia and working with Gaia on this evolutional shift that we're all going through to assist the humans to understand the 3-dimensional shift into the 5th, where everything is chaotic, but yet it's going to come to the light, and we are going to shift into the 5th dimension. So we're working on all aspects of it through mind, body, spirit, with the
Well,
Life to Afterlife series. And if anybody wants to know where to get this stuff, it's on Amazon Prime, and then Tubi, and then I do have the YouTube channel where everything is free as well.
yes, and we are constantly giving that information out to parents as well. And I feel really grateful to be able to have had both of you on here because it's been such a long time. And again, you were supposed to come to the conference, and then right beforehand, like 2 months beforehand, when we were going to do a panel on the movie and on the book, you moved, which of course we can't say anything about that. That's not something that you could have done anything about, but we did miss having you there. And we have so many people in the chat box right now talking about how incredible this was and how healing it was. And we really appreciate you coming on to speak with us. And we want to hear everything that's going to be happening as you go forward. So please come back and speak to us. And we'd love to know how this experience in Australia goes. So when will it be? Will people be able to register for it then? We have a lot of people who are in Australia that are part of Helping Parents Heal. Is it going to be next year then that it's happening, or
Yeah, it's going to be next year in June, late June. I think it's going to be like the 27th right now. We're finishing the website, and as soon as that's up, we'll give you the information so you can pass it on to them. And we are encouraging them that if it's possible to film it so that people in America can also join or be a part of it. So right now it's in just the works, but as soon as that website is finished, we'll give it to you where all the information will be.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And Irene, did you want to say something as well?
No, just great to see you both, and thank you for being here. And we look forward to having you back in the community. And we always ask everyone to unmute and say thank you and good evening. And
Thank both of you.
yeah.
We're so grateful
Thank
to have
you,
had
guys.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
It's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Have
Good
a
night,
you.
wonderful
everybody.
Thank you so much.
year. Bye-bye.